Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the Paladino Live Network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I'm your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Kind of hazy skies, kind of a veil. Obviously, again, the future is kind of like that, but the not too distant future is kind of like that. Not the clearest thing in the world. Long-term future, I think this team looks pretty good for the most part, but a strong, crazy, wild week for the Minnesota Timberwolves. As what the heck happened this week? I guess we won all of the games. Timberwolves go 4-0 this week. How about that? But unless you've been living in a cave, there's a heck of a lot more to the 4-0 record than meets the eye. Holy cow, they're just looking at it on paper. Oh, wow, what an epic game versus Denver. Yeah, oh my God. That was one of the most stressful, crazy games I've ever seen, but Timberwolves somehow emerged victorious in that one. The Detroit game, lots of storylines there. Oh yeah, so you get the uneventful victories versus Phoenix and Brooklyn. We appreciate those very much. Sometimes the uneventful but solid, comfortable wins are great, and boy, we'll take them 10 out of 10 times. But this game didn't go without some drama. Of course, there was some. Timberwolves getting to be 10 games above 500 with a 42-32 record after beating the Phoenix Suns, who dropped to 35-39, 35 and 39, are still kind of screwing around with the play-in zone. Basically, they're in the play-in zone. Anthony Edwards took an elbow to the face accidentally from Kevin Durant. It was an incidental contact, that type of thing. Of course, there was no technical, there was no fight. Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards have lots of mutual respect. Anthony Edwards is often called Kevin Durant his favorite player of all time. So, yeah, they were totally fine. Anthony Edwards had a couple of dramatic moments, getting hurt a bit this week. Of course, that moment there, and then later in the Brooklyn game, it looked like he had some kind of an ankle injury or something on the sideline after taking a shot, was helped off the court, and then returned in the second half. So that was good to know. Anthony Edwards, of course, missed a little bit of time here as well. Looked like he was hitting in the nose, but when he was, writhing in pain on the floor, not a drop of blood came out. So I'm not sure what's going on there. That's kind of weird. A 20-point game in about 27 and a half minutes. Again, an uneventful type of a game, and we'll take it any day of the week. Jalen Clark, strong defense in the 9.5 minutes he played. Mike Conley's been insane the last X amount of games. He has been outstanding, made half of his shots, including 3 of 7 from downtown with 13 points. Again, nice to see his jump shot coming back. Both Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley are peaking at the right time, or at least we hope so. Well, it's April, so that's a good thing. And welcome to April, everybody. Welcome to April, by the way, to you out there. Yes, welcome to April. It's something we all very much appreciate around these parts. Julius Randle, another epic performance versus the Phoenix Suns. Again, this wasn't a close game, but a very fun game, a free-flowing, move the ball all over the place and hit your shots for the most part. I mean, the Wolves shot 53% from the floor, about 49% from downtown. Again, fun. That's what we're all about here. 31 assists, 11 turnovers. Not bad. 13 rebounds by Rudy Gobert. That's about the low of the week, which is kind of funny. 5 personal fouls. Unfortunately, you'd see him get in foul trouble in a certain Denver game, a certain Mile High City game. But 13 rebounds. Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley potentially peaking at the right time. McDaniels, strong performance with 16 points as well. 6 of 10, also 2 of 3 from downtown. Donnie DiVincenzo, 3 of 6 from downtown. And again, an uneventful type of game, so we're probably going to keep things rolling here because there's 2 games coming up here that, they can, there's probably a couple extra things to talk about. They might take a little longer to discuss, in this episode. They just might, the melee at Target Center or the terror at Target Center. I don't know. Terror at Target Center? It's okay. Everybody's trying to come up with some cute name, some creative name. Well, good for you. The technical fouls, Isaiah Stewart ejected. Ron Holland, I believe, a lot of people got technical fouls and ejected. Anthony Edwards got a tech, unfortunately. Luckily, that didn't go against him. I believe it was reversed. So Anthony Edwards did not face a suspension. Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo were ejected in the game, along with Isaiah Stewart. I believe Ron Holland and I don't know if it was Reid or Sasser, but I think Sasser was. Yep. Oh, there they are. Stewart, Holland, and Sasser. Yes. Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo. Why'd they get ejected? What happened? Oh yeah, a lot of crazy drama happened, but we'll get to that in a minute. We're just gonna, we're gonna kind of ease into that one and have a little lemon and tomato juice here. It's delicious. That was the Phoenix game, kind of a little lemon and tomato juice, relaxing. Southern hospitality, all that cute stuff. Malik Beasley wouldn't know anything about that. He was kind of, what do you expect? He's one of those guys that's got kind of a chip on his shoulder. I wouldn't call him I wouldn't call him an ass, but maybe he's like a tier below that. Like, come on, man. Yeah, he's an ass. A little bit. Sometimes when he wants to be, he's an ass. Put it that way. He's not like a complete ass like Steph Curry or Jimmy Butler. Don't even get me started on those guys. I probably overstepped my ground on ripping those guys constantly because I can't stand them. They're asses. Anyhow, Malik Beasley with 27 points as the starting small forward, I guess. Tim Hardaway Jr., who's had a wonderful year with the Detroit Pistons. 20 points. Again, great signing. And last year, I was like, why the heck is he getting buried on the Dallas Mavericks? Why is Tim Hardaway Jr. getting buried? Doesn't make any sense. He's a good player. I'd take him here. Heck yeah, I'd take him here. We could use his help, especially with Terrence Shannon Jr. being hurt, I guess. That figures. Like when you need help, especially during the one-game suspension of Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid, you could use a little help at the shooting guard position. Tim Hardaway would be great, but of course, again, Terrence Shannon. I keep wanting to say Shannon Stewart, the former Twins outfielder. Apologize for that. Very valuable addition for a few years there when the Twins would win their division and go nowhere afterward. But that's Minnesota sports for you there. Yes, Tim Hardaway would have been a nice addition, but it is what it is. The cap situation, and you can't have everybody you like. I would have had Kyle Lowry on this team about 15 years ago. I was in love with that guy. Not literally now, okay? Figuratively, as a basketball player. Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo both equally played 9 minutes and 37 seconds. Reid was okay again. Decent. Detroit would take a sizable lead. It was like, this sucks. What the heck is this garbage? 34-20 after the first quarter. And it's like keeping up with it as I was having dinner or whatever with the wife and all that, keeping up with it, and it's like, this is not going so hot, and stupid idiot is like, kind of showing us up, Malik Beasley, and well, luckily that would come back on him. I wish people would give that back to Steph Curry, all the crap he's done over the years. Every time he makes any shot, he has to like show off, he has to do some kind of thing. He doesn't do it as much now, but he's still in it, you can just reeks of the arrogance. It's still there, very much so. Especially with a guy like Butler on the team. The arrogance is going to spill over with those guys. But Beasley, yes, a little bit too big for his britches, I think. Yeah, and luckily it would come back on him, but he did have a good game in the first half. Oh, in the first half he had a good game. Second half, not so much. Pistons actually would still have a 6-point lead at the half. But at the same time, momentum was definitely on the Wolves' side. As again, the Pistons had a 14-point lead after the first quarter, and it felt like more. Just felt like this is a bad matchup. Detroit always beats us all of a sudden. Even when they sucked, they were beating us, and now that they're kind of good, they're beating us, which means the Wolves will be getting a draft pick because Detroit's going to make the playoffs. I'm a 42-33 on the season after this loss, by the way. Two teams were actually tied coming into this game. We were like, mirror images of each other when it comes to win and loss record. So Naz Reid's going to the basket. The game had already been getting chippy, been getting physical, and people were probably sick of what's his name's antics. That Beasley guy. Old what's his name over there. Yeah, thinks he's somebody. Yep, he was. People are getting tired of that, I'm sure. And excuse me, that wasn't good. There was the game had been getting chippier and chippier, and Naz Reid goes to the basket. He gets hacked pretty good by Stewart, if I remember correctly. No, it was Stewart. And then Naz Reid was basically telling him off, wagging his finger and like, hey, I have no idea exactly what he was saying, but you can only imagine. Just fill in the blanks, if you know what I mean. Bleep off or whatever the heck, probably like a little bit extra mixed in. Naz Reid's a nice guy, but yeah, he's kind of like me a little bit. Nice guy, but hey, you set him off. He's going to kick your ass, He's going to go off on you. Yeah, it's kind of, sometimes. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a temper on him. That's why he didn't get drafted in the NBA, believe it or not. People knew he could play, but yeah, he had temper issues. That's why he was an undrafted free agent. I remember Marcus was mentioning that way back in the day. Yeah, this Naz Reid guy, I'm really excited about him. We're kind of bringing him in. McDonald's, obviously a McDonald's All-American, all that. He was very highly thought of, but had temper issues. And Marcus said that back then. Pardon me. Marcus is a forecaster who definitely can do some forecasting, let me tell you. He's still very much around behind the scenes. We still have some interesting conversations behind the scenes. I wish more often, I wish more often. I only wish more, But that was back then. And of course, Naz Reid, occasionally that temper comes out, and it did. And Dante basically had enough. He's like kind of coming in, basically pushing Isaiah Stewart out of the way. And then Dante just kind of was like, all right, blankety blank, 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 or whatever. God only knows. And it turned into kind of a wrestling match, basically. WF, formerly known as WWF style, or WCW, or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. Professional wrestling, basically. Okay, let's just call it PW, professional wrestling style. Probably a bit overdone a little, just like wrestling usually is. And things would spill over to the stands. Supposedly some kid got got kind of bumped into and such. And, people were like, oh, poor kid. Other people were like, yeah, give me a break. And I kind of agree with the give me a break crowd, because if you're sitting that close to the court, yeah, you're not poor, okay? Just shut up. I don't want to hear that. I'm glad he didn't get hurt, okay? That's number one. Glad he didn't get hurt. I do not think he was traumatized for the rest of his life. And if he was, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't understand that. I really don't. No, I don't think so. Continuing though, again, after this, it was kind of a bit of an interesting game, to say the least. Again, Detroit was still very much in the lead in this one. The Wolves were getting frustrated. They're tired of Detroit's, chippiness. Luka Garza would shoot a couple free throws, which was very entertaining, kind of got the crowd going, kind of woke everybody up. Garza was a bit surprised. Oh, you're picking me to shoot them. Okay, because it would have been Naz Reid shooting those free throws. So Luka Garza went in to shoot the free throws and then put his warm-ups back on, I guess. But would get a couple minutes at the very end of the game. Come on, that's mean. Put Garza back in. let Garza play a little more. Garza used to play with Detroit. You know that? Yeah. That's a little trivial conversation. Garza is a former Piston before he came to the Timberwolves. So, yeah, he'd been in the NBA for a cup of coffee with Detroit. In fact, a little bit more than a cup of coffee, maybe a whole pot of coffee. Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, absolutely outstanding. Anthony Edwards would have some nice momentum plays here and there, those momentum threes and such to kind of get things going. Heat check, whatever the hell it is. 4 of 10 from outside, 25 points for the Ant-Man. Julius Randle would hit half of his shots and went up with 26 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. Very aggressive style. Rudy Gobert, absolutely ridiculous. Just vacuuming up those, like a Ghostbuster vacuum, in the video game Ghostbusters for Nintendo or the Sega Master System. I'm actually reviewing the Sega Master System version right now because it's way better than the NES version. It just is. I'm reviewing that for Video Game Flashback. Been kind of on a semi-hiatus of that show, but kind of going to do that, though. It's about half done. It's not a hard review to do. It's an easy game to review. Anyhow, Rudy Gobert had his ghost vacuum as he was vacuuming up, or basketball vacuum on. 25 rebounds. 25 rebounds. Good Lord. I mean, it's holy. That's like Bill Russell level. I mean, insane. 25 rebounds. Bill Russell averaged 22 rebounds a game in his career, not season, career. Yeah, it's pretty sick. That's how good Bill Russell was. You might think, Bill Russell was overrated. No, Bill Russell's not overrated. He just didn't put up he wasn't Wilt Chamberlain with the 50-point games, like every other night practically. Yeah, well, Wilt Chamberlain wasn't overrated either, by the way. He was just going up against old white guys. Bull crap. There was talented players in the NBA back then, too. and Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain would surprise you how effective they would be in today's game. Believe me, they would surprise you. Believe me. Let's see. Bill Russell versus Luka Garza, or Will Chamberlain versus Luka Garza with his lack of defense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, there I go on another silly rant there. I apologize. I'm an old man yelling at a cloud. Sorry. Damn it, clouds, stop it. Stop it. You're blocking the sun, you son of a gun. You baskers. You mad blankety blanks. Okay, sorry. Enough of that. But the Timberwolves were mad in this one. I won't say the word. Yeah, they were definitely mad though. And well, sometimes it's good to get mad because it wakes you up a little bit rather than screwing around and getting pummeled by Detroit on your home court. Like, screw that. And kind of woke up their True Blue, their Timberwolves pride, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't get into a lot of that cutesy stuff. I don't know. I'm not that big of a homer, even though I love the team. I want them to win, as you can tell. And this was fun. It was entertaining. It was great. It was a heck of a night, to say the least. A Sunday night, going back to work again. The weather was dreary and depressing, colder than it should be. April's not supposed to be warm, but it's not really supposed to be like 33 and raining. Rain maybe, yes, sometimes, but not like 4 days in a row. That was ridiculous. It was a absolutely garbage weekend weather-wise. You couldn't do anything outside. I mean, you couldn't even go for a walk for like 5 seconds. Like, taking out the trash was definitely a chore because it's wet and nasty. So this would kind of bring your spirits up quite a bit. Fun Friday night, kicking the Suns' butts, basically. And then, then you had this. Looked like we were going to get our butts kicked on our home court, but no. They didn't get their butts kicked on the home court. They ended up beating the crap out of Detroit as things would progress. A 38-23 third quarter and a 31-21 fourth. It was all Minnesota from there on. Detroit would have a couple moments, but generally speaking, it simply was not their night. No artery check for Dennis Schroeder. He was 0 for 4 from outside, so no ice in the veins in this one. His temperature was probably like 100 degrees or higher. Sorry, buddy. I like Dennis Schroeder, by the way. I like him. I'm not annoyed by him at all. He did get 11 assists. Not bad. 11 assists, 11 points, but shot lousy. Just not his night. And Beasley was basically, what did he have, like 2 points in the second half? Something along those lines. 2 points, 4 points. I don't have the exact stat in front of me, and it doesn't really matter. Beasley was hot in the first half and was basically trolled in the second half by Anthony Edwards and several other players, kind of doing the same celebration back at him. Like, yeah, how does it feel? They were doing it from the bench. That's what was funny. It's the young guys were out there having some fun, or maybe not even young guys, but reserves. Young guys, and Jalen Clark getting 18 minutes. Good for him. Dillingham getting a couple minutes. Yeah. Dillingham should get more minutes. Leonard Miller. There was a Leonard Miller sighting. You got to see Josh Minot play, and he would get minutes against Denver because, well, hello, Naz Reid's out with suspension, at least for one game. Dilly would get a few minutes as well in that one. But we'll move on to the Denver game, shall we? Well, this Detroit game, 99% of the time would probably be the feature presentation, but it's safe to say, because I don't think it's the Brooklyn game. It's safe to say I haven't brought this bite out for a little while. Hopefully this isn't copyright infringement too. I'm getting Spotify's been a bleep lately. They've been difficult. I'm not happy with them right now. Not happy with Spotify at all. This show is housed by Spotify for podcasters. That's where I distribute the show. And they've been giving me a hard time about like the Mega Man music. That's why you're noticing. I probably mentioned this in the last episode, but you're noticing remixes. Where back in the day, I used remixes. And yeah, there was never any complaint then. And heck, everything else is stuck on Apple Podcasts ever since. I mean, this is how many years old is this show? Like 16-year-old show. This is the oldest Timberwolves podcast in the world. It is. This is the oldest Timberwolves podcast, period. 16 years old. I could drive if it wanted to. That's how old Timberwolves Explosion is. But yeah, I was getting nailed a bit with some of that. Episodes potentially could get taken off if I don't do something. But yeah, I did some work, cleaned some stuff up. I'll probably get some more coming at some point, but yeah, probably. But yeah, you'll notice remixes and such. But anyhow, to the point, the Denver game is our feature presentation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Good Lord, 19 and a half minutes in, and we're just getting to the Denver game. Wow, oops, oops. Well, that's on me, isn't it? Clock management, well, 4 games to review. What do you expect? It's going to be a busy one. I mean, the Detroit and Denver games, you don't think it's going to be a long first segment? Oh, yeah. Then you got 3 games to preview. I'll probably try to keep that extremely brief. Timberwolves could potentially win out the rest of the season. They actually could. They could. You know, Timberwolves could win 50 games this year. I hope they do. Let's see what happens. Denver game, Joey. Denver game. Yeah, Denver, Joey. Denver, okay? Yeah, well, final score was 140-139 in double overtime. Great back and forth battle, and the Wolves won. Yeah, that's all. Okay, now let's go talk about Brooklyn. No, I can't quite do that. Denver was absolutely spanking the Wolves to open up the game. Took a 16-point lead, and the Wolves just kind of, just inching back and inching back and inching back, made this first quarter fairly respectable. What wasn't it, like 19-3 or something? It was like ridiculous, the opening quarter. It was awful. Like, oh boy. Everything's all of our energy got spent in that Detroit game after the fight, and, now we're shorthanded. There's no Nas. There's no Donte DiVincenzo. We could sure use that spark plug. Well, other players stepped up, didn't they? They sure did. Rudy Gobert, only 12 rebounds. Come on, Rudy, that's garbage. Just kidding. Compared to 25, yeah, it's garbage, but no, it's not. But no, it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not. And believe me, he would have had more than 12 rebounds, but Rudy Gobert fouled out. Jaden McDaniels, 5 fouls. Julius Randle, 5 fouls. Julius Randle had to guard Mr. The Cyclops over there, that big giant guy that gets triple-doubles all the time. Oh, yeah, he scored 60 points in the game, too. 61, excuse me, Nikola. Jokic, excuse me, Mr. Joker, or whatever you call yourself, or they call you, he doesn't call himself that. 10 assists, 10 rebounds. Yeah, he did get a triple-double. I'm happy for him. Did not foul out, but he came close. Russell Westbrook's 5th foul was pretty damning. Yeah, it was pretty damning. We'll get to that later, though. It's a little early for that conversation, isn't it? I wonder, Christian Braun felt terrified to take open threes, but he was missing them like crazy. He was 1 of 6. But, yeah, there were a lot of missed threes in this game, but this long-haired, obnoxious, athletic, annoying, drives me nuts, Aaron Gordon. All 4 of his threes came at the most clutch, frustrating, bleeping time, as he was missing shots like crazy earlier in the game. But as the game progressed, Aaron Gordon wound up with 30 frickin' points. He got on my nerves. Drives me nuts. He got on my nerves all year last year, too, during the season series and of course, in the postseason. He's annoying. Aaron Gordon's annoying, man. God. Every time you think you're going to start to pull away, that son of a gun hits a catch-and-shoot 3. It's so annoying. Drives you crazy. I know it's part of the game, but it's still annoying, dude. It's still annoying. Jokic. Cyclops. He does have 2 eyes, but he still looks like a Cyclops anyway. He looks like he should be carrying a big, giant spiked club or a gigantic mace, which is also known as a Morning Star. The ball chain thing. You swing around. It's got huge spikes on it. And it can, crush your head, your skull. Really graphic and disgusting to think about, but that'd be scary. Imagine Jokic like that on a gigantic horse or something, or just out there on his own. Whew. Well, that's the Cyclops right there. That's Nikola Jokic. 61 points. And he made it 6 of 11 from downtown. Remember Game 7 last year, Nikola Jokic missed a ton of threes. It was crazy down the stretch. He'd made a few during the game, but he missed a ton of them. I think he was extremely tired at the time. And speaking of tired, of course, Jokic looked tired on his face, but he played like, okay, it's just a normal game. It's 4th quarter, and I'm locked in, and we're going to get it done. We're going to get this job done. Cyclops Jokic, to the Joker Cyclops. Time after time after time, every time you thought the Wolves had something going, frickin' Gordon would hit a 3 to either, put the Nuggets ahead or get them closer, get them within striking distance. Jokic would hit something. Jokic would hit something, semi-close, like a mid-range type of a shot while getting bodied up, because he would out-body whoever's bodying him up, be it Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert. The Nuggets fans can drive you absolutely berserk. They're obnoxious. I mean, every little thing that goes right for Denver, they're all, attitude and obnoxious. Kind of similar to Northern California fans. Yeah, that stupid team. Ugh, God. Certain teams, certain fan bases can just drive you nuts, and that's two right there, Denver and Golden State. Jokic, though, obviously lots of respect for him, obviously, and he had a lot of respect for the Timberwolves last year when we escaped Game 7. This had a Game 7 of the second round or Western Conference Finals type of vibe. This game absolutely was extremely, dramatic. It had every bit it just had like everything was on the line in this game. That's what it felt like, even though it's a regular season game. It's important. It's a like a quote unquote pennant race in baseball. It's kind of like that, for playoff positioning and such. But it felt a lot bigger than that. Obviously, it's kind of a personal thing between these two teams after a 7-game series last year. Very bitter series, bitter rivalry that has emerged. Mutual respect and mutual hatred, I think, at the same time between these players and the coaching. Well, not the coaching staff necessarily, but a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. There's a little bit extra going on in this game, and you could feel it the entire time. The fans obviously are obnoxious as hell, so obviously fans, Wolves fans and Nuggets fans are probably not a whole lot of friends, not a whole lot of love lost, to say the least. Wolves able to inch back. Look like we're going to win this thing, and then we end up having to go to frickin' overtime. Rudy Gobert fouls out in a couple of situations where, well, looked like Jokic should have had an offensive foul called on multiple occasions as Gobert was getting shoved to the floor. No fouls called. And then it's like the most ticky-tack fouls ever you could feel going the other way against Jokic or whoever. Gobert, of course, fouls out. Randall, like I said, and Randall McDaniel, like, Vikings player years ago. But where am I going with this? Yeah, they got into foul trouble, so they had to play very carefully. Jokic is almost impossible to guard. There's not a whole lot you can do. There was just so much back and forth in this one. Wolves built a 6-point lead in the overtime period. Anthony Edwards had some great plays to put the Wolves in position to potentially win, but also put the Wolves in position to tie this thing up and get into overtime in the first place with some great plays. The guy I can see on the screen right now, with silence, of course, Stephen A. Smith, went as far as to say that Anthony Edwards' performance was Jordan-esque when he put the Wolves in position to at least get to overtime and hopefully win the game with a couple of crossovers and releasing threes and such and driving to the basket. It was spectacular. But again, Wolves build a 6-point lead. Anthony Edwards hitting some big shots. Of course, Aaron frickin' Gordon hits another 3. And as things progress, he ended up having to go to double overtime. God, that's what Aaron Gordon, if he misses one of those, and of course the game's over. But no, he didn't. It was so annoying. It drives you nuts. But then in double overtime, it felt like the Wolves were going to lose this one. Felt like the Wolves were going to win it, and then it started definitely going back over to Denver. Aaron Gordon hitting a 3 again to put the frickin' Nuggets up by 1 after the Wolves had a 2-point lead. You're just praying to God he misses, and then maybe you get the rebound and, go to the free throw line and wrap this thing up. Oh, yeah, we went to the free throw line and wrapped it up, but a very unorthodox version of that coming up. A very unorthodox version of that coming up. Nickeil Alexander-Walker would hit big shot after big shot and make big defensive plays. Make some great passes. He had 2 blocks in the game. How cool is that? 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was everywhere. 8 of 16 from the floor. Anthony Edwards did have 34. Julius did have 26. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker also had 26. Major moment in the game as well was the fact that Jokic didn't sit down from the fourth quarter on. So 3 consecutive, basically, periods, you could say, of playing for Nikola Jokic, and he still hung in there the way he did. I can imagine he was absolutely dead tired. Josh Minot had 10 points off the bench. Was pretty good. 4 of 6, even 2 of 4 from outside with 4 rebounds. Jalen Clark went up with 4 fouls in 9 minutes. Ouch. That sucks. Dillingham only got 4 minutes in the game, but Conley was pretty good for the most part. Didn't shoot too much, but he did have 8 assists in the game. 3 guys at 8 assists. Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Julius Randle at 7, so pretty wild. But again, you did have 2 extra periods there to finally end this stupid game. Once it became a 1-point game, it's like somebody's probably going to win this one way or another, unless Nikhil Alexander-Walker would only make 1 free throw in the absolutely defining moment of the game. Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards bringing the ball up the court. Timberwolves trailing by 1 after the stupid Aaron Gordon 3, the 4th 3 and final 3 of the game. I feel like Aaron Gordon hit like 8 threes or 9, but he only made 4, which is weird. But they were all in those extremely important moments because he was missing earlier in the game. Remember, he missed a lot of threes against the Wolves in the playoffs, especially in Game 7, down the stretch. Anthony Edwards is bringing the ball up the court, makes kind of a cross-court pass that is intercepted like a good cornerback in the NFL, reading the, getting in the passing lane and making the interception. Driving down the court, like this game's bleeping over, we lost. And then the guy misses a layup. I thought the ball went in because the net moved, like somebody hit the net. I'm like, we lost, it's over. He missed a layup, which harkens back to a hilarious memory with me and Marcus. Just in case you're listening, Marcus, big big shout out and big love to you, Marcus, if you're listening. One of the funniest things we ever saw back in the day, we used to do NBA 2K where we would just build rosters together and all of that and let them kind of play year in, year out. We'd watch our teams play against each other and all that. And I had Kobe Bryant. It was the Timberwolves. He happened to be, we just drafted entire teams basically. And Kobe was like old by this point because it was years later. Kobe had gotten super old because, how the game makes the players older and older as the years go on, they age. It was a back and forth type of thing like this where one of us was ahead, whatever. I think, I forget what it was. I forget what happened. Marcus just hit a 3 or whatever. It'd be like an Aaron Gordon type thing. Hit a 3 to go up by 1. All of a sudden, Kobe Bryant's wide open all by himself for a layup. And he misses. He hits the bottom of the rim. He thought the game was over. And then he ends up beating me. It was like, you son of a gun. We were like so mad. You son of a gun, Kobe. How do you do that? Russell Westbrook. Nuggets up by 1. Flies down the court. Because there's a little extra to this one than that. Flies down the court. And the Russell Westbrook style, he's obviously one of the fastest players in the league, even when he's getting older. But especially when he was younger. Holy cow, could he hit the Jets. Would have been a hell of a wide receiver or running back in the NFL with that speed. Crazy. Drives to the basket. The ball misses pretty badly. It just kind of like clanged off the rim, the back of the rim. Like, what was that? Kind of like, ugh. What was that? Go backboard, man. Don't you understand? So the old Westbrook rip that always goes his way, and Westbrook hates that nonsense. He gets really mad, actually, if anybody ever says that. And I would too, hello. But it's kind of on him, I guess, because he misses too much. He misses too many shots for that guy as talented as him. It misses. Wolves go down the court. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of opportunity, but then there's this guy waving his hands. I'm wide open over here in the corner. Give me a chance here. Anthony Edwards gets it over to him. That's Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Russell Westbrook is going to come over to disrupt the shot as the clock is nearing 0. The ball gets off, clangs. Russell Westbrook is crashing into Nikhil Alexander-Walker right around that same time. And it's like, no way. It's a foul. 3 free throws. Fans, of course, saying be a bull, BS, saying the whole thing on camera and doing thumbs down as the refs were reviewing the call and all that, which could have still gone the Nuggets' way, but it didn't. The ball was released way before the clock, and Westbrook was crashing into Nikhil Alexander-Walker at the same time. Nikhil makes the 2 shots that are needed and misses the last one intentionally, and the clock expires because there's only 0.1 left. Because they'd be rubbing it in if he made 1 more free throw. That's rubbing it in. That's disrespectful. It's okay. Whatever. The Wolves won the basketball game. Oh, and all that stress and frustration was released. Oh, man. My Twitter's filled with, me ranting and going crazy and all that. Still got 1 more game to talk about, but it'll be very brief, I'm sure. But this was quite dramatic. Anthony Edwards is getting interviewed right at the end of the game there on TNT because this was a national broadcast, wasn't it? Yes, it was. It was a Tuesday on TNT, not Thursday. Tuesday on TNT because they do games on Tuesdays as well, especially as the season progresses. Anthony Edwards is about to get interviewed, and then he kind of started, And then all of a sudden you hear him yell, Keel! Keel, basically. Nikhil Alexander Walker waving him over there. He brought him over and talked about how this guy was absolutely the MVP tonight. The credit goes to him. So that was pretty cool. How Anthony Edwards did that. Really appreciated that. Thought I'd wrap up the conversation there, but holy, still got one game to review. 34 and plus minutes into this first segment. Long first segment, huh? Big one? It's a big one. Wolves will play Brooklyn again, and we're going to review that, or preview that. Well, next week, not even now. Brooklyn Nets. Well, this was kind of like the Suns game, but probably less interesting. I'll call it less interesting. The Wolves were definitely more sloppy in this one. Edwards, though, hey, good numbers. 32 minutes, 10 of 15. That's pretty nice. 5 of 10 from downtown, 28 points. Great game. Nikhil Alexander Walker, or Keel, as you can just say the Keil. He's got all kinds of nicknames. Nikhil Alexander Walker, Keel, or Naw, N-A-W, whatever it is. Just like his cousin who plays for the Thunder, who has three. It's like a 3-name type of deal. 3 syllables, 3 letters deal. Nickname type of thing. DiVincenzo and Naz Reid come back. They combined for 15 points. Naz Reid had 13 of them. That's all you need to know. Donnie DiVincenzo made 1 shot and was 0 of 6 from downtown. 1 of 9 overall. Ouch. So hopefully Dante will be an inferno again and not ice cold like he was in this one, as they were wearing those ice cold jerseys. And I think no, we were wearing the cheap sailor uniforms. Never mind. I think the Wolves need to change the uniforms again. I know Marcus, the forecaster, not a huge fan of the regular white uniforms because they look like we're like cute little sailors or something, like Donald Duck or something. Quack, quack. Oh, those were the Frozen jerseys. Never mind. My head's all mixed up. I apologize. Yep, well, Dante DiVincenzo, regardless, was ice cold in a bad way. 1 of 9. Yuck. And the Wolves won the game. Rudy Gobert with 18 points, 18 rebounds, 21 points in the game, 2 blocks. Rudy Gobert is definitely a candidate for the Player of the Week. In fact, he might share it with another guy from Canada. There's only one player on the team from Canada right now, and it isn't Andrew Wiggins. And I'm happy to have the player from Canada that we have now, even though Andrew Wiggins is playing pretty well in Miami. McDaniels was not real good in the Denver game. In fact, he missed so many frickin' shots in that game. It was ridiculous. And he wasn't good versus the Brooklyn Nets either. Randall, not so great in this one. Probably a bit tired and beat up from that previous game. Only 11 points and 4 of 11. Anthony Edwards, again, helped off the court in this one. Again, after a 3-point corner 3. Looked like he'd turned his ankle or something along those lines. But was back out there and still won it with 28 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So nice. Even had a couple steals in the game. And there's other Timberwolves news that's extremely significant as well. We'll get to that in segment number 2, unless I forget like a dummy. Nobody fouled out in this one. That's good. Nobody was really in legitimate foul trouble. In fact, just Randall and Edwards got 3 personal fouls. That's it. So good. Nice to see Leonard Miller had a moment there, and Ponce Highland got a rebound on the final play of the game. The Timberwolves win by 15 over the Denver Nuggets, the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets. Nick Claxton, the big guy with 18 points. D'Angelo Russell, I don't know. 12 and a half minutes, 0 points, 0 of 6 from outside, 0 of 6 overall, 0 of 4 from downtown. Yeah, they need you. They need you, D'Angelo. Remember, they need me. Sure we do. Sounds like Scarface telling people, well, you need people like me to look at the bad guy. This is the last time you're going to see the bad guy, I tell you. Basically, yeah, that's the last time you're going to see the bad guy if he's going to shoot 0 of 6. D'Angelo, what happened, man? You know, he made the All-Star team once when he was with Brooklyn last time. He made the All-Star team. You realize that? That sounds kind of, weird. Tyson Etienne, just like Travis Etienne Jr. in the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Travis Etienne Jr. It absolutely sounds British. Etienne. Tyson Etienne. Sorry, I know I'm annoying right now, and I apologize. My apologies. You notice it's British this time, not Aussie. Maybe I'm screwing this one up worse than the Aussie one, but we'll get back to Aussie in a little bit with Joe Ingles. All right, enough of that. The Lone Wolf Award winner for this episode is Nikhil Alexander Walker, NAW, and Keel. He's got his many different names, and he will get the award. He gets the award. Honorable mention to Anthony Edwards, of course, of the big clutch plays, but missed a lot of shots at times as well. Crappy start to the Denver game, but great finish. Rudy Gobert, my goodness, just about any other week. I mean, he pretty much should get it as well. In fact, you know what I mean? It's like he could almost tie 25 rebounds. He was ridiculous most of this week, Rudy Gobert. Rudy and Mike, please keep this up. Please keep this up, because if you're peaking around the right time into the postseason, this team could go on a playoff run, which not that long ago sounded kind of silly. In fact, wasn't it like two episodes ago, or even one episode ago? I was like, this team isn't going anywhere. Just get out of here. Every time they look good, then they crap the bed again. You know. Well, now they look really, 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 really good. It's very encouraging. We'll see what happens, though, when you start playing teams like... Obviously, the Timberwolves can beat Houston. They've done it multiple times. They've taken care of Houston. Even when they're good, we've still beaten them. Oklahoma City, the Timberwolves are capable of beating them, but they're ridiculous right now. Obviously, Cleveland and Boston, I don't know. But you got to get to the NBA Finals to worry about Cleveland and Boston. With that said, we'll take a quick break. You got 3 games to preview. Let's get going. Are you looking for a really nice Timberwolves-related Facebook page out there with cool fans and a wonderful host? Well, look no further than Wolfpack from Flip to Finch, hosted by Scott Doherty. He does a great job. Scott Doherty's an awesome guy, and the fan base on there, obviously passionate about the Wolves, but also respectful of other people's opinions regarding the team. Check out the page. It's awesome. Wolfpack from Flip to Finch. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, a 40-minute first segment. Holy Toledo, 40-plus minute first segment. Wow. Well, I mean, there was a lot to talk about, and now I'm talking about it again. Let's go. Philadelphia 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks, and Memphis Grizzlies, who recently fired their coach. And the Grizzlies have the same record as the Timberwolves, which sounded unheard of just like, I don't know, felt like a couple weeks ago. Apparently, Jenkins lost the locker room, according to the ownership. A sudden firing, and now the Memphis Grizzlies have been falling off the face of the earth. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk about them. That'll be on TNT next week. Should be an epic battle. Could absolutely have playoff implications on April the 10th coming up here. All right, well, Wolves and 70 Suckers in Wells Fargo Center. That must mean Philadelphia, because it is. Well, in the past, this was pretty much like a scheduled loss. Not this time. At least it better not be. Doggone it, it better not be. Terrence Shannon Jr. with the injury report, groin. Damn it, Terrence. We need you, man. Groin injury? Come on. What's going on here? 76ers and groin injuries can be nagging. Not good. Can really bleep up your defense. I mean, just a small groin injury to me. I couldn't guard anybody. It was pathetic. Excuse me. Lemon and tomato juice, of course, or coffee, but this time it's lemon and tomato juice. One of my favorite guys ever, Kyle Lowry. Like I said, 15 years ago, he would have been on the Wolves. Remember, he was backing up, it was 2 young, exciting point guards on the Memphis Grizzlies years ago by the name of Mike Conley and Kyle Lowry. Yeah. And I was like, Mike Conley's probably not available, but man, if you can get Kyle Lowry, freaking awesome. And I was right about that guy. I'm not right about everyone, but I can tell you I was right about Kyle Lowry. He had a hell of a career. And I absolutely loved Conley in that draft years ago. Coming out of Ohio State, the Ohio State. Well, the Philadelphia 76ers are 23-54, just like they used to be when we were all trying to trust the system. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the system has too many injuries. Kyle Lowry, hip, April 2nd. Kelly Oubre Jr., who could drive you crazy at times, knee injury as of March the 14th. Andre Drummond, Man, he was a stud with Detroit years ago. Toe. Ouch. That's never a good thing for a big man in the National Basketball Association. March 13th. Team comparisons. Timberwolves are 14th in points. Philadelphia is 24th. Rebounds. The 76ers are dead last in the league at 30th. Wolves are right in the middle at 16th. Field goal percentage. Wolves are 16th. Philadelphia 21st. 3-point percentage. Thank you, Edwards and others, I suppose. Dante when he's on fire. 4th in the league. Wow. Philadelphia is 26th. Assists. Wolves are 16th. Philadelphia Sixers are 28th. Timberwolves are 18th in turnovers. Sixers are 6th. I guess they're the Sixers in turnovers. In assist to turnover ratio, though, what the heck happened here? Because they don't get any damn assists, right? 21st. Okay, Philly. 16th for the Wolves, right in the middle. 14th in blocks. Wolves, that's disappointing. As far as I'm concerned, it should be higher. Come on. You have all these guys, these long guys like Rudy, Jaden McDaniels, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Anthony Edwards block shots. You're only 14th. Come on. Philadelphia's 24th. Steals, Wolves are only 14th again, and Philadelphia's 4th. But who's going to be playing out there? Wolves beat Philadelphia pretty soundly back on March the 4th. That wasn't that long ago. 126-112 in Target Center. This one's in Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Sixers have been losing like crazy. Losing to the Washington Wizards. Wow. Got hammered by Miami 118-95. Hammered by Toronto 127-109. Beat comfortably by New York 105-91, and beat comfortably by Milwaukee 126-113. Wolves have won 4 in a row. Wolves will win this basketball game. The last place 76ers. We'll look at them a tiny bit here if humanly possible. Of course, obviously guys are hurt and such. Maxi's not even playing supposedly. I don't think he is. I think they're just like sitting him out. Isn't that what they said? 26 points a game. Embiid only played 19 games all year. Paul George is out for the year. Oubre is supposedly hurt with the knee. I don't know. The Wolves are going to win this game. I mean, it's what it is. They're probably trying to get like a top 5 pick here, and they probably should get one. They should, and we'll see what happens if a healthy top 5 pick comes to Philadelphia, or a healthy team with an exciting top 5 pick comes to Philly. Well, they might be a threat, maybe, but odds are somebody gets hurt again. It's depressing, but that's how things seem to go with the Sixers. Timberwolves should win this game fairly comfortably. Final score of 122-108. Timberwolves will win the game. The leading scorer in this one will be somebody. The leading scorer in this game is going to be Julius Randle with 25. Julius Randle with 25. Wolves win over Philadelphia. Next game, and it's not showing. Why is this happening to me? You bastards. God, that's annoying. What did I click on? Come on, man. Don't you just hate that? You think you're doing something and you're not doing it. Maybe I never clicked on these teams. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe Mr. Dame Time, Dame Time, he likes to point to the watch, like, yep, after he hit the shot, like, yep, it's Dame Time. Well, Dame Time is out. Groin injury, but also blood clots in the calf. So now we're starting to hear about blood clots again, which is very suspicious as far as I'm concerned. That's kind of scary. Bobby Portis suspension, apparently. That was like something with, I can't remember what it was. I think it was gambling. What the hell, Bobby? So I think he's out for the year. Jericho, the walls of Jericho Sims' thumb. Well, the walls came tumbling down with the thumb injury for Jericho. Joshua beat him. Joshua beat Jericho, dang it. March 17th. So this should be another Wolves win. The Bucks beat the Wolves in a back-and-forth battle on Feb 12. Very frustrating loss. Dude, weren't the Bucks not? Yeah, it was stupid. Like nobody was there. No Dame Time. No Greek Freak. Brooke Lopez, who's almost my age, almost, not quite. Gary Trent Jr. with 21. Good for him. Obviously coming from Minnesota, obviously, and all that. I don't think he was born here though, was he? Couldn't have been. That's possible. Here I go screwing things up again. Nope, it's from Columbus. Okay, yeah. I didn't think he was born here. I mean, I know Gary Trent Sr. played here for a number of years, and they stuck around. Gary Trent, former Timberwolf, of course. Shorter, big guy with a lot of power. That kind of guy. Ryan Hollins, when I think of that, I think of a long guy, and he's a guard here. So it's obviously a different guy. Kyle Kuzma with 19. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need to look at old box scores, but very frustrating back and forth loss to the Bucks. With yeah, I mean, I remember a lot of us were pissed off about that. It's like, come on, guys, like, come on, you're getting beat by Kyle Kuzma and Brook Lopez. Come on, like, serious? Anyhow, regardless who's playing, the Bucks are technically 11th in points, 12th in rebounds, 21st in rebounds. No dyslexia allowed there. 5th in field goal percentage. Wow. 1st in 3-point percentage, but no Dame time. Time's up. Time's up, Dame. Unfortunately, and I'm not trying to make fun of him. That's blood clots are not a joke. They can kill you. Yes. That's why they're not playing. 20, or you could lose your leg or whatever. Who knows? I don't even want to think about it. I really don't. Assists, the Bucks are 22nd. Turnovers, 9th. Bucks are 13th in assists to turnover ratio and 18th in blocks, 27th in steals. The Bucks are still, very much in the playoff hunt, but they're going to get, I don't know, their chances of going anywhere are slim to none. 42 and 34. I don't know. Doc Rivers is okay. I'm not a big fan, though. He's got a big mouth. That was before he got more political, but he's got a big mouth. Yeah, he does. So, no love lost for me to that guy. I loved him as Boston, but those days are over, man. That was a long time ago now. He got louder and louder. Let's just put it that way. Timberwolves should win this one too. I mean, the Timberwolves should take care of business. This is in Milwaukee. Come on, don't do it again. Don't lose to a team without a star player. I do believe the Freak is playing now, and he's averaging quite a few points a game. What is he? 30.4. So that's an advantage the Bucks definitely have compared to last game. But no Dame time still, and I can't imagine the vibes are that great. The other guy is suspended, because of gambling, I do believe. So that'd be Portis, Bobby Portis, everybody's favorite guy, I guess. Nice glue guy on that team. He's the Udonis Haslem, younger, healthier version, kind of thing. Udonis Haslem of that team. Pretty much, a glue guy. Greek Freak is, he's played most of the games this year. Gary Trent also can hit 42% from outside. Greek Freak only 21%, but he doesn't attempt many threes at all anyway, so good for him, I guess. One stat that really sucks with the Greek Freak anyway is 61% at the line. So that's crazy when you consider Damian Lillard is 92%. Middleton's missed a bajillion games as well, only 23 games all season. This should be a winnable game. You want to believe the Wolves can get it done. This could be a toughie. This could be a sneaky one, especially if the Greek Freak is healthy and plays up to what he can do. They are a playoff team. They're third place in the Central. They're fifth in the East. So there's still something to play for the Bucks. They're not dead. Like Philadelphia's dead. Brooklyn's dead. Even though they played pretty hard yesterday, but Brooklyn's dead. That kind of thing. But the Bucks are not. So unfortunately, definitely I'd say this is definitely a potential trap game that could affect the Wolves. I'm going to step out in good faith and believe the Wolves will get the job done here. Obviously, Memphis has something to play for as well, but it's not. The vibes just aren't good there. You can end up losing both of these games. You might end up splitting them when it comes to the Bucks and Memphis. You lose Philadelphia, you're just screwing around. Shame on you, seriously. You lose to Brooklyn or Utah next week. Shame on you. That'll be next week's show, of course. I will save that for this next episode. Got to take care of business versus the Bucks. This is on the road. This is a losable game. So's the Memphis one. I keep going back and forth in my head, but I'm going to step out and think the Wolves continue a winning streak here and beat the Bucks. Final score along the likes of I think it might go to OT, like 125 to 123. Anthony Edwards with 35 in that one. Memphis with big mouth Ja Morant. We have the same record, 45 and 32 at the moment. It'll be probably different at the time because this is next Thursday on TNT. Injuries. Grant Williams' senior illness. April 1st. April Fool's there. He's not sick. He's just pretending. So we'll see what happens with that. Brandon Clark, knee, March 19th. And Zion Pullen, February 24th, knee, unfortunately, for him. Memphis is the number one offense in the league. We'll see how that fares with the the interim coach and such. Second in rebounds, seventh in field goal percentage, ninth in points, seventh in assists, 27th in turnovers, 16th tied with the Wolves in assist to turnover ratio, 3rd in blocks. Dang. Yeah, that's Jackson, of course. And 6th in steals. The Grizzlies have beat the Wolves twice in 2 extremely frustrating back-and-forth battles where they beat the Wolves by 2 points in each. And that little punk with his big mouth, and I guess he's doing gun signs or something, so he may be getting in trouble again. He's under investigation. The big mouth with the... Yeah, God, he's annoying. Yeah, you can't say anything bad about him, though. Yeah, that's really bad. You just can't do that. So, I don't know. He's annoying. I don't like him. There, I'll just say that. I won't say anything else about supposed gun signs and stuff. Can't say anything. That's just terrible. The Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah, you can't. Memphis Grizzlies 110, 108. 110, 108 over the Miami Heat. So they ended their losing streak by beating the Heat by 2 points last night. So good for them, I guess. Let's look at that game real quick just for fun. If you can call it fun. Jaren Jackson has been just an absolute headache for the Wolves. Only 13 points in almost 37 minutes. We'll take that. 13 points and 4 rebounds. He got into foul trouble. That definitely didn't help. John Morant did play. He got 30 points. I can imagine his big mouth. Oof. That guy is annoying, too. So many annoying players in the NBA. Scottie Pippen Jr., I forget what he said. He said something selfish, or was it a different player? I think it's a college player, not him. It was a younger guy. 7 assists for Scottie Pippen Jr. Nice. Scottie Pippen Jr. Good for him. Luke Kennard, wasn't he on the Wolves or something for a minute? Was he? I swear. Wasn't he, though? No? I thought we invited him or something. I don't know. I'm mixed up in the head. I swear this guy was in our, training camp years ago. Okay, I have no idea, but sounds very familiar. Maybe it's a different guy, but man, that sounds familiar. Desmond Bane was the bane of the Wolves' existence. God, he's been a headache. 6 of 23, 1 of 9. Yeah, see, if he does that, yeah, 1 of 9 from downtown. Yeah, stuff like that, the Wolves can absolutely beat the Grizzlies. So hopefully this is what we're going to get. Hopefully. This is probably the toughest one because they're still dangerous. You still got Jaren Jackson. You still got Bane. God, he's a pain. Bane is a pain. And, Jaren Jackson and Big Mouth John Morant. Unless he gets suspended or something again because he's, naughty, I guess. Yeah. You can't say that, Joey. That's just, ooh. Might get canceled. Can't say it. This one's in Memphis. That's not good necessarily. Obviously, it's a tougher place to play at times. They have fallen off the face of the earth. The vibes are a bit toxic there. Be it the coaching staff or be it the quote-unquote star player. The quote-unquote star player who thinks he's, the greatest thing ever, thinks he's better than Michael Jordan. Oh, yeah, he's better. Dang it. He sure is. Sure is. He's better than Michael. Yep. Just ask him. The Wolves should beat Memphis, but, again, this is a tricky one. Man, I hate this team. I hate everything, don't I? Too much hatred. I'm just spewing hatred, aren't I? How do you, if you're a Timberwolves fan, though, how can you stand Memphis? Seriously. especially this, not just this year, but going back to that playoff series. Before that, I kind of liked the Grizzlies, but after that series, man, I'm telling you, that brought out some dislike, we'll call it, for the Grizzlies. I can't make up my mind. I cannot do it. This is like a pick-em. This just reeks of, it's going to be so close. Okay, in good faith, the Wolves get the job done. God, please, Lord, let this be true. Please, Lord, let it be true. 112-111, the Wolves win by a point. Anthony Edwards with 40 points. John Morant with something like 30-something, if he's not suspended, which he probably won't be, but we'll see. Wolves will win on TNT. Anthony Edwards will put up the big moments and get the job done. Rudy Gobert will get 20 rebounds in this game. Rudy Gobert will get 20 rebounds. That's another little, you could call it a parlay. Is that what they call that when you add the pieces? So, yep, I'm going to parlay this one. Anthony with 40, Anthony Edwards with 40, and 20 rebounds for Rudy Gobert. Wolves win by a point over the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll take a quick break and look at fan interaction, as there should be some. back here on Timberwolves Explosion, segment number 3, fan interaction segment. Absolutely love this. At TWolvesEX is your Twitter or X account for, what is it called? Instagram, Timberwolves_explosion. And of course, Facebook.com/Timberwolves Explosion there. Always love it. Why isn't this loading a little better? It's like everything's white and blank and stuff. There we go. Yes, Timberwolves Explosion. Oh yeah, something kind of important that I mentioned and I didn't talk about it at all. And I don't think anybody commented or anything, which is kind of weird. I'll check on X here. There probably has to be something. But Shamus Charnia, this was on April 2nd. That would be Wednesday. Glenn Taylor has agreed on Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez acquiring 100% ownership of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx at the same $1.5 billion tag the sides reached in 2021, sources said. Apparently, at the time of this tweet, they were also talking about that the Timberwolves' value has skyrocketed to about $3 billion. So, what a bummer. So, obviously, Glenn Taylor must be a little bit frustrated with that. But at the same time, 1.5 is still quite a bit. And heck, people are talking like the Twins aren't even worth that, which the Minnesota Twins were also for sale. And a lot of us would love to see the Polads move on, just like Timberwolves fans like ourselves here listening would like to see Glenn Taylor move on. Well, Glenn Taylor is moving on, and that's kind of where we're at now. The conversation continues that basically it's now in the league's hands to get everything ratified, so to speak, to process this for real, and then they really are the owners and all that. Glenn Taylor will not be holding a minority stake in the franchise. Before, he was looking to maybe stick around for 20% of the team, but of course, I'm sure all the animosity that took place the last year, that relationship is done. Like, that's pretty much what happened at the end of the day. The relationship is over. So it is what it is, and the talk is that the other fat cat, so to speak, involved in this is a guy by the name of Michael Bloomberg, which you probably heard of. He was brought up several months ago of being possibly a part of this group. Many years ago, when the Minnesota Vikings were purchased by Ziggy Wilf, they were not originally purchased by Ziggy Wilf. Ziggy Wilf was basically kind of like the ace in the hole in case the potential buyer may have had financial problems. I think he was fearing that back in the day. So, yeah, that's kind of what took place. That guy at the time was Reggie Fowler. Reggie Fowler was, he was going to be the new owner, but then he had an ace in the hole, basically, in the group, the guy that absolutely had enough money in case he ran into financial issues. In Reggie Fowler's case, Ziggy Wilf ended up taking over ownership of the Vikings, and he's been a pretty good owner ever since. Ziggy, Mark, it's the Wilfs and all that, and Reggie Fowler stayed on as a minority owner. So, kind of cool. That's basically what happened back in 2005. I do not see the same situation here, but of course, again, at the same time, Michael Bloomberg is the ace in the hole in case, again, there is some, maybe they don't want to own the entire 100% of it. So you have this extra guy, the big boy here, to replace Glenn Taylor. And we'll see how things go with that. I don't think Michael Bloomberg is going to be the main owner of the Timberwolves, even though he could probably buy multiple franchises. Because isn't he worth in the hundreds of billions? So he's in the triple-digit billions, which is too much. What is that, like 12 figures? So, Lord, that is nuts. Years ago, like 50 billion was the richest guy in the world. That's long gone. By October of 2014, Fowler had moved on from his limited partnership with the Vikings. Probably made a nice profit, I'm sure. 2005 to 2014, in 9 years, owning an NFL franchise, like a stake in the team. It's a lot of money. So that's kind of what took place there. So, yes, had to get into this. I meant to get into the second segment, but I don't know. I was in preview mode, I suppose. We're already 1 hour in. Apologize if you feel like I'm dragging this out. But, yeah, there's a lot of news this week. It's a big show. Big one. This is a big show. Hopefully it gets more ears listening. That would be nice. The show's been it's been up and down, kind of like the Timberwolves all year, which I guess is expected in an up and down type of season. To Twitter or X, at TWolvesEX, at TWolvesEX Levi, And Tanae Brown out of New Zealand retweeted the most recent episode. Thank you guys so much. No sense of urgency. Yes, I was pissed off last week. And Vince Germano out of Melbourne, Australia, also retweeting the most recent show. You three guys are like literally the pillars of the show. Another guy out of the Bronx, New York, named Benzo is another pillar. I love you, and we're going to hear from him again very shortly. Lots of this, lots of that. There's Benzo. I was tweeting and ranting and going crazy and screaming and yelling, basically trying not to be a complete moron. Let's just say my wife was not happy because I was basically saying bleep you because Aaron Gordon's 3 after 3. I was getting really mad. I was getting mad. I was like, bleep that guy. I was getting pretty mad. And it wasn't going over real well. Anyhow, John Krasinski, Johnny Craw, says this game is absurd. I tweet back, 1 minute you love it, the next minute I absolutely hate it. It's not exactly a fun game. It feels like stress, anger, and frustration the entire time. Yeah, I was losing it. Freaking Gordon, go away, man. And then Cyclops was making everything. 61 points for the Cyclops, by the way. Benzo responds from out of the Bronx saying, facts. This is the game of the year, though. And yes, that's why it's definitely the feature presentation. I was responding with Lord have mercy. Yes, Lord, please do have mercy. That game was annoying a little bit. But it was a nice, happy victory for the Timberwolves at the end of the day. Like, all's well that ends well, you know? As frustrating and angry as you get. You want to punch a hole through the wall. You want to write a threatening letter to the, I don't know, not to the refs. Maybe Denver would do that. I'm not writing any threatening letter to the refs after that game. Why would I do that? No. They made the right call, and thank you. Absolutely. So I did the little bat signal in hopes to get some responses, and got a couple. And I appreciate you guys. Hopefully Hopeless Wolves fan did respond. Or hopefully he's a listener. I think he is. I do believe he's local here in the Twin Cities. I hope so. He's kind of like me. Gets kind of mad, frustrated. I mean, just look at his name. Hopeless Wolves fan. That means you're frustrated with this team, damn it. He says, gotta figure out late game execution. Yeah, some of those plays at the end of the fourth quarter and overtime, overtime number 1, and obviously several other times during the season. That has been a huge complaint. Huge complaint. You know, like just the way the plays have been drawn up. It's been a huge complaint. So Hopeless Wolves hitting the nail on the head with that first little sentence of his tweet here. Gotta figure out late game execution. Whether it's players or coaching or whatever, that needs to be fixed. Without a change, they'll lose those games in the playoffs and be exiting early. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's got to be better than that. That late game execution is freaking horrible. Like, literally, we were bailed out by Westbrook by breaking the layup and then fouling Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The Nuggets basically won that game until Westbrook, messed it up. Westbrook messed it up. That's all. It's that simple. And we appreciate you, Russell. We appreciate you, Russell. We'll give you the key to the city at the end of the season, if that's okay. Gotta wait a little while, though, until the Nuggets are knocked out before we can do that. Anyhow, I know, I'm just... the key to the city. Oh, it's so what's the word? I don't even have the word in my head. Symbolic or whatever, something along those lines. Gosh. Tanae Brown out of New Zealand. Absolutely excited to hear from you. So often Finch calls a timeout for the last possession. Yes, and it's just Ant dribbling the... Yes, I hate it. I hate how many refs are. I hate how many coaches do that. Sometimes it's good to let the game flow. Calling a timeout, you clog everything up. Let the game flow. Funny what happens when you let the game flow. You actually might somehow come out of it with a win. Anyhow, back to today. So often Finch calls a timeout for the last possession, and it's just Ant dribbling the ball until there's 3 to 5 seconds left, and he either takes a heavily contested shot or someone has to shoot a rush 3. I wonder what's meant to happen on those plays. Exactly. It just feels like they're just standing there. They wait too long, and then air ball, or it clangs off way off the side of the rim or whatever, the front of the rim. It's just bull bleep. It's awful. Exactly. It's so annoying. And it's all the time. Like, remember the Hallelujah Jimmy Butler video. Sometimes he did have, he was dribbling the ball up the court, but he just weighed and just forced up some garbage and missed every time. potential game tying or game winning shots that Jimmy would miss and miss and miss and miss in his glory season with the Timberwolves. You know, the one that we made the playoffs and everything and got trounced by Houston when Houston was real good in the first round. Now they're kind of good again, but I'm not. I don't look at Houston like a championship threat. I look at Oklahoma to a point. I don't think they'll win. Hint, hint. I don't think they will. But yeah, they're definitely a threat, though, to say the least. Breaking news: Ja Morant fined $75K for finger gun gestures. Okay, so yeah, he's not going to get suspended for that. Okay, I think I see it now. Yeah, it looks like he's holding a rifle. It's because he made a three-pointer. I don't know. It's, it's okay. He kept doing it. Oh, he was pointing at the Warriors. You know what, John? I almost like him now because he's pointing it at the Warriors. That's about how I feel with the Warriors, you know. But okay, yeah, I know. I know. That's the end of Timberwolves explosion. I'm gonna get no. Don't fine me, please. Please don't fine me. Please, I don't want to pay for that. I was saying I made my Tanae liked my thoughts about I made my thoughts known before, but my God, I hate this Warriors team. Why can't they just go away? Yes, Joey, I agree. Just kidding. Well, yeah, why can't they just go away? Blah. And yes, Tanae, my goodness, both of you guys, Tanae and Hopeless Wolves fan, those were awesome. It's like only 2 responses, but you know, 2 awesome responses. That's what matters. The quality over quantity, guys. That was great. And you know what? If you tweet me 15 times this week, that is absolutely welcome. If you tweet me once, it's still better than nothing. You know, you guys are quality, and I really appreciate you. That was awesome. Benzo too. That was quality. Today that was awesome. Though I mean that's a huge rant with the NBA right now, guys. Just kind of screwing around. Okay, now we'll force it up and miss. It's just the same old story time and time and time and time again. Except for Dame time, of course, pointing to that watch. Like, it's Dame time. I don't know. Well, get better, Dame. Okay? Get better. Yep. I mean, I don't. The only reason why I'm chuckling is because he's always got that look, kind of that, like, he's kind of like, yeah, it's Dame time. Like, he's just so, I don't know. How do you describe it? Monotone? He's a very monotone guy, but I guess I'll take that any day over just, like, showing up the other team. He's just pointing to his wrist like it's Dame time. That's it. So I will take Dame Lillard's celebration 10 out of 10, maybe 20 out of 20 times over any, histrionics like the Warriors do. I just can't deal with it. With that said, I really appreciate you guys so much, really do, and want you to know I love you to death. Obviously dedicating the rest of this season to Pumpa, Reese Pedretti. Yep, can't stop mentioning him, and can't stop thinking about him either. He's an awesome, amazing guy. Vince Germano, hope to hear some more takes. I know you're a busy dude. You know, I know Tanae's busy. I'm sure Hopeless Wolves fan is busy too. We're all workaholics, whether we want to be or not. We're just workaholics by force, pretty much, with just the way life is. With that said, wishing you the best, all of you. Take care, and Timberwolves, keep this sucker moving. Let's do it.